Hi everyone, I'm Tamika Dunkley. Throughout my scholastic career, I'm praised for being a wonderful straight-A student. I'm the student body president, a leader in multiple choirs and bands. I spent 6 to 7 days at church. I attend every Bible study, worship service, and benefit. From a young age, I'm taught to walk with a certain persona. There was a level of professionalism and grace I'm expected to carry with myself with. No matter how I feel or who I really want to be. Who I am doesn't matter, as long as my family appears to be perfect. So much so that people began to label us as the Sultan family show. But now I'm 15 years old, sitting in a car parked behind the church. I take a deep breath. I look down at my belly. Then I quickly look into the rearview mirror, shifting my focus from myself to the double-pane doors. Through the stained glass, I can see all the people attentively watching the pastor at the pulpit. I want to go back home. I have avoided this moment for several months, and the internal buildup is all but unbearable. I can no longer hide myself. I know that the public shaming is in store for me, but I'm praying it won't be as bad as I expect. As I slowly climb up the steps, holding myself on the banister, our eyes meet. I see the look of shock and disappointment and immediately sweep over his face. How far along are you? The deacon asks. I say I'm 7 months. I take a deep breath and I brace myself for this long journey. I somehow survive the next few months and triumph over the scorn from all the people in my life. Being the daughter of a pastor or any prominent person in the community is not easy. When you grow up being surrounded by the church and find yourself pregnant out of wedlock, that's shameful enough. But being a pregnant teenager makes it even worse. People feel free to comment on any of the challenges in your life. It is as though one mistake makes everyone feel as they all of a sudden know your life story. I am well aware of the hypocrisy. You see, I know all of their deepest secrets. The things they struggle with, the things they go to counseling for. All pastors talk to each other behind closed doors, or not so closed doors. I wonder if they know that their secrets are not so secret anymore. All that doesn't matter anyway. They felt that way, and they had a right to pass judgment on my life. Now I'm no good, troubled, and a bad influence on their children. Now the same people that my life has been built around see me as less than, incompetent. They label me as fast. It's an epidemic, people would say. Why would you do that? As if I don't know that your husband was trying to take me home with him at the gas station just a few months prior. As if I don't know that you're buying drugs right after church. As if your daughter isn't the one who encouraged me to do what she was also doing. I'm not the type to confront people. I'm not going to fight back. I'm not going to put their business out there. The truth doesn't matter. I allow others to create my history as the months pass and my belly grows. I remove myself from the line of fire. I stay to myself, and most importantly, I stay away from them. Finally, a few months later, I walk back into the church with my baby, only a few weeks old. I take the front entrance. I'm trembling inside, but I do my best to muster up a false confidence, prepared to confront the naysayers and the so-called do-gooders. As soon as I enter, a woman I've quite literally known my entire life pulls me in. She brings me to the front of the stage and holds my hand. I feel every cell in my body pulsing. I can't think, and I can barely stand. I know she feels the sweat on my palms as she grips my hand. My baby feels like a bag of cement in my arms. Dear Lord, I pray for your heavenly protection for Tamika. I pray that you cover her and keep her from the path of sin. I pray that she will no longer be living as a sinner, but will keep the trials of the flesh far from her. She will no longer live in disgrace from you. She continues, but I tune her out, and I keep my eyes closed as I feel compelled to blurt out her truths. that her daughter, only slightly older than me, has done much worse, and that she could never imagine those things. The difference is that I was not covering up, shying away from my mistakes. I'm facing them head on. She's a white woman with a black husband, just like my parents. There will always be some underlying competition that they had subjected me to, and now I have provided her with the fuel she needs to publicly shame me. After the public berating ceases, I stare out in front of the sea of faces. There are over 300 people in attendance that morning. I go to the bathroom and I stare at my son until the only thing I see is the outlining of his head through my tears. I let him know that I am not going to be what they condemned me to be. I will rise above that. I see nothing but love and innocence staring back at me, and I feel peace. I decide in that moment that anyone who wants to tell me that he is anything but a blessing doesn't have my best interest at heart. My whole world becomes him, but despite my promise to him and myself, I struggle. I struggle through school. I'm still an above average student, but who's going to watch the baby? How am I going to get to and from school? How am I going to provide food for him as he grows? Although my parents try to support me in their own way, I can no longer conform to their idea of what is right. I can no longer be subjected to the phony understanding or perception of who God is or who I am. I have to be who they are. They have to be who they are, and I have to be myself. And as a result, I find myself homeless a little over a year later. And because I was so young, there were no services available to me. I walk out of the DSS building pushing my 1-year-old child in the middle of winter with nowhere to go. I find a coffee shop a half a mile away, and I use my last $1.25 to buy a cup of tea so I can sit there. That semester, I stayed in 9 places and somehow managed to attend and pass all of my classes. I know that if I am to fulfill my promise and create any resemblance of stability in my son's life, I have to be able to provide financially. I study nursing, a profession I never wanted, but somehow I thought that it would be the best way to care for my son. So at 19 years old, I officially became a registered nurse. I excel with my studies, attaining a bachelor's degree less than a year later and being placed in a supervisory position within that same year. I named my son Amittai. Its Hebrew for meaning is upright and truthful. I named him for the purpose I saw in his life before he was born. Now a teen himself, an avid reader, enrolled in the early college program, he is living up to his powerful name. With the support of my family, I've been able to rekindle my dreams and pursue my own purpose. I continue to work as a nurse from time to time, but it's not because I have to, it's because I want to. My husband and I own a successful food company. Because of this, we've been able to create a nonprofit organization that allows us to help other people change their life's narratives and pursue their dreams. Over the years and throughout many trials and tribulations, I've developed my own relationship with God, the universe, our ancestors, whatever you want to call it. But most importantly, I've found myself.